After-action reports should be standard protocol after any emergency or drill. Not only do they help you diagnose and address critical gaps in emergency preparedness plans, but they also help you respond faster and with greater confidence during an actual crisis. This video will cover everything you need to know about after-action reports, including what they are, why you need them, how to develop them, who should be involved, and when to use them. Now that's a lot to unpack, so let's jump in. Hi, I'm Peter Steinfeld, Senior Vice President of Safety Solutions at Alertmedia. For the last 20 years, I've worked with hundreds of companies, including some of the world's largest brands, to help them develop strategies to improve emergency preparedness and response, assess and mitigate risks, and communicate faster when an emergency strikes. I'm glad you're here to learn more about after-action reports, or AARs. They're different than after-action reviews, which typically involve a brief meeting or discussion immediately following an emergency or drill. The after-action report refers to the actual document of record that breaks down action items and improvement plans that you can execute and refer to in the future. You may have noticed the free downloadable after-action report template in the video description. If you're new to creating an AAR or are looking for ideas to make your existing AAR more impactful, I encourage you to check it out. But first, let's talk about why AARs are important. There are significant benefits to developing and implementing formal AARs as part of your standard post-incident process. These documents lay out vital details, such as the effectiveness of your emergency response, what went well, and areas of improvement. Specifically, a good AAR can help you create a tactical action plan for future emergencies, simplify your improvement plans, and identify trends or repeated issues. Every business will experience an emergency or unplanned event at some point, and it could severely impact your employees' safety and your bottom line. It could be a severe weather event or natural disaster, a security incident, or any unexpected disruption. That's why it's important to take a long, hard look at your emergency response after an actual event occurs and after preparedness drills or tabletop exercises. After-action reports will help you assess your response to either scenario, real or simulated. To get the most value out of your after-action report, there are a few preparations you'll want to make before meeting with the stakeholders involved in executing your response plans. Let's break those down. Number 1, establish the intent. To define the goals of your report, ask yourself, are you trying to prevent a certain type of incident from happening again? Was there a misstep or breakdown of a process you're trying to understand? Are you attempting to accelerate response time? Knowing what you hope to accomplish will give you better, more specific answers in your report. Number 2, identify the players. A comprehensive AAR should involve all critical stakeholders in the conversation. Ask yourself, who is part of the decision-making process? Who was or could be impacted by the incident? Who is involved in executing response plans? Who can provide insightful data or evidence to understand the impact of the event? And here's a great tip. You might want to consider inviting an external facilitator to your meeting to serve as an objective third party and help moderate the discussion. Number 3, determine logistics. When and how to have your discussion is a critical yet often overlooked component of developing after-action reports. To help you determine the best timing and format, ask yourself, is an in-person meeting the best method, or can a virtual meeting be just as effective? How much time is necessary to allow all stakeholders to thoroughly assess the incident or drill? How and who will document lessons learned before the meeting adjourns? And remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to these meetings. Each organization must decide what's best for their company. Number 4, set ground rules. When discussing critical events, it's also important to have rules in place that facilitate open and honest discussion. A few examples might include all contributions will be taken seriously. Participants are expected to be honest and respectful. Feedback will be used solely to inform the AAR. No ideas will be discounted without posing alternative solutions. And here's a pro tip. Make sure to communicate your ground rules to all meeting participants in advance so everyone knows what to expect. Once you've completed your preparations, it's time to meet with your stakeholders to conduct your after-action review that will inform your written report. You'll want to discuss each of these concepts in your review, then document your conclusions in the final report. First is the post-incident recap. In this stage, you'll want to discuss what was expected from your team leader and responders during the event or drill. Ask questions like, what was expected to occur? Was this event predicted? How much notice did you have? Were there previous plans or strategies intended for events like this? What resources were available to you before the event? Who was responsible for responding during this event? Second is the incident review. This is when you'll review everything that actually happened during the emergency or drill. Make sure everyone in the meeting has an opportunity to share their experience. Here are some questions that you can ask. What was the chronological order of events? Who was there or within reach? Who responded? What did they do? What resources were used? Who was communicated to, and what were they told? Third is the incident analysis. Determine what went well and why so you can replicate or expand that response in the future. You can inquire about who was the most helpful and why, which strategies were the most effective, which resources were most useful, what were the most positive responses from employees, which new, in-the-moment actions were effective, and which technology was the most useful. Fourth is improvement areas. The last discussion points are the elements that did not meet expectations or standards for success, so you can avoid them in future responses. Be sure to discuss areas of improvement without judgment or assigning blame. Here are some helpful questions you can ask. Which functions on the response team did not meet expectations? Which strategies proved the least effective? Which resources proved the least useful? What were the most negative responses from employees? Which new, in-the-moment actions did not help or actively made things worse? Which technology failed you when you needed it? Here's a pro tip. Alertmedia can help you get started. Remember, you can download our free after-action report template to save time and expedite the process. Now that you've completed your AAR, it's time to implement it. As we've all experienced at some point, the best plans are useless if you don't act on them. Here's some guidance on how to get the most bang for your buck with your report. 1. Assign action items. Find the best person to implement each specific change, create new documents, or procure resources. 2. Establish a timeline. Set a clear and realistic deadline for each action item and be sure to communicate it to all relevant stakeholders. 3. Check in regularly. Set guidelines for communication regarding status updates and completion. Make sure to discuss obstacles or bottlenecks as soon as possible so you can address them quickly. And here's one last tip. Don't assume everything in your report will be done according to plan. Be sure to track changes and check in frequently with the responsible parties to ensure you're making progress. All right, I hope you found these strategies for developing and implementing after-action reports helpful. It's easy to write off emergencies as just one-offs or accidents. But the truth is, any emergency can provide lessons learned for the future, whether it happens again or not. When you take the time to complete an after-action report, you will develop better strategies, respond faster, and communicate more effectively when disaster strikes. Now, before I wrap up, I want to invite you to participate in the discussion. Please let me know in the comments below if you found this video insightful, have questions about the content, or have an idea of a safety topic for a future video. Thanks again for joining me, and on behalf of all of us at Alertmedia, stay safe out there.